Welcome to the Georgia Department of Corrections Initial Orientation for Prospective Correctional Volunteers, and thank you for your interest in volunteering. This orientation will cover a brief Georgia history overview and how Georgia Corrections began. You will learn the Georgia Department of Corrections mission as well as our organizational vision and how we strive to accomplish these. We introduce our various mission partners and their origins. You will also understand the invaluable role that volunteers play within the corrections program. You will hear some general facts on corrections, offenders, and methodology. In 18th century Great Britain, offenders had to pay prison staff if they wanted a decent room. If you were unable to pay, you might be thrown into a cell with other people, where illnesses and diseases flourished. Many of the people placed in these English jails could barely be considered criminals. They had committed a minor act, such as not paying their debt, but were treated as severe criminals. Oglethorpe saw the horrible conditions and abusive behavior prisoners endured and devoted his life to helping correct it. He became one of Britain's most active humanitarians. Despite his heroic efforts in England, he and his colleagues couldn't eradicate or prevent the extreme number of poor people living in England who were ultimately jailed for small offences such as unpaid debts. They began looking at their options, especially in this new world called America. In the late 1730s, Oglethorpe had to focus all of his attention, energy, and resources on the Spanish in the South, thus resulting in his dream of an ideal society of reformed debtors to be put on hold and then never fully accomplished. More recently and over the past few years, all three branches of the Georgia state government have been working diligently to reform the correctional processes in Georgia. The goal is to operate safe and secure facilities that provide opportunities for reformation and the reduction of recidivism. The Georgia Department of Corrections mission is to protect the public by operating secure and safe facilities while reducing recidivism through effective programming, education, and healthcare. Our vision, simply stated, is to create a safer Georgia through sound management while offering opportunity for positive change. Our path to accomplishing our mission is by ensuring public safety, operating safe and secure facilities, providing effective community supervision, creating opportunities for restoration, ensuring the rights of victims, and partnering with public, private, and faith-based organizations. Also, we accomplish our mission by sustaining the core values of professionalism, responsibility, integrity, dependability, and effectiveness, or pride, and building pride in ourselves and our agency. Overall, approximately 95% of our offenders are expected at some point to return to their homes and communities. Research indicates that preparing offenders for re-entry is more successful in maintaining a crime-free life after prison. You will hear some general facts on corrections offenders and methodology. Volunteer services is multifaceted and includes numerous mission partners to include faith-based organizations, community stakeholders, concerned citizens, civic organizations, and business partners. Georgia Department of Corrections volunteers are enlisted from a broad strata of the population. They represent a wide variety of interests, faiths, backgrounds, and ethnicities. The role of volunteers. Volunteers raise the conscious awareness of the community by involving their talents, resources, and their inherent connection to the offender and the community. Volunteer involvement sends the message to offenders that the community has a vested interest in their success. Volunteers are needed in a variety of areas, such as life skills, employment, and parenting. You will become familiar with the Prison Rape Elimination Act. Bottom line, the Georgia Department of Corrections has a zero-tolerance policy on sexual assault and sexual misconduct with offenders. It is very important to learn and understand established correctional policies. Correctional policies are established for visitor safety, facility staff safety, and the offender's safety. These policies and procedures must be observed and obeyed. Professionalism is required and expected when serving as a volunteer. Volunteers will maintain a professional relationship with all persons in the custody or under the supervision of the Georgia Department of Corrections, and their immediate family or visitors. No personal or business relationships are permitted. Volunteers are expected to dress appropriately while serving in a volunteer capacity. Essentially, this means dressing as a professional volunteer. Do not wear any type of open shoe, sandals, flip-flops, etc. Do not wear provocative, military, or suggestive clothing including shorts. Also, do not wear expensive jewelry articles or carry over $5 in cash into a facility. Please note that the department extends the opportunity to participate in religious activities and programs to all offenders, subject to individual institutional restrictions. The department provides religious services based on offender requests, recognized areas of need for an offender, and the availability of resources. Also note that an employee, contracted personnel, or volunteer will not discredit or disparage the religious beliefs of any offender or coerce any offender to make a change of religious faith/affiliation. Entrance and exit procedures. Vehicles in the parking areas must be locked. No tools, ropes, clothing, etc. shall be left in the open bed of a pickup truck. Coordination with the prison must take place before you arrive so that the control room will have a memo authorizing your entrance into the facility and that all are informed of your scheduled activities. The safety and security of visitors, staff and offenders are the most important concerns in any correctional facility. Georgia Department of Corrections staff are trained and have planned for emergency situations ranging from mediating a fight between two offenders to handling a major disturbance. Chaplaincy and volunteer services approach. Your contribution as the bedrock foundation for our comprehensive approach to meeting the human and spiritual needs of offenders at the Georgia Department of Corrections. You will receive additional instructions once your volunteer application has been processed. Generally 3 to 4 weeks. You must receive volunteer training to complete your certified training and before receiving volunteer identification. Thank you again for your interest in volunteering.